Well, it happened again. Another mass shooting. Another one. And these mass shootings, they just happen all the time, all the time. I mean, every time you look up, another mass shooting. I think this time, this one happened in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Uh, I just listened to this on the radio in my car, and I think they talked about okay, the police killed the gunman, and he said the gunman went on a mass shooting at a place that he used to work at to get revenge. You know, the way I look at it, I think the people on the place at the place that he used to work at drove him to do this. And it's like America just doesn't have a clue on why these mass shootings are happening all the time. They don't have a clue. It's their toxicness and their craziness in the messed up society create these mass shootings, but they just don't get it. I mean, they just don't get it at all. Well, the way I look at the Indies mass shootings, how about doing this? Bringing gun control / universal background checks, and and just become a sane society. But that's not gonna happen. So we're just going to just continue seeing all these mass shootings. And also, I know this is old. Heard that Theresa May, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is gonna step down because of her failed attempt to get the United Kingdom out of the European Union. And I think she was talking about this, and it finally happened. So she gonna stay on until a successor comes and replaces her. And also, I heard that the idiot president of the United States, Donald Trump, is going to the United Kingdom for a visit, and there's politicians in Parliament, in the British Parliament in Westminster or wherever it is, they don't want him there at all. So yeah, I mean, yeah, people in Britain don't like Donald Trump, and I don't like him either, and I don't care for him. I didn't vote for him, so yeah. Speaking of the UK or Europe, I got something that I'm going to read, and it is titled "Top 10 Differences Between Europe and America." Okay, go ahead and read this. Though only a stone's throw away across the great Atlantic, Europeans and Americans are as different as night and day. And being anywhere from 5 to 7 hours difference in time, they literally are too. Back in the days of old, when that ragtag batch of tickets off Englishmen decided to brave the snarling sea and make new their lives in America, we held similarities close to our hearts. However, times force great changes and leaps in advantagement force gaps in our likeliness and make them far more diverse and different. Gone are the days when the new Americans would take tea time. Instead, we as Americans stumble upon the idea of lunch, similar but still quite different. Well, you get the idea. Here are 10 of many, as we all know, ways we, as Americans, are different from our Joida brethren across the pond, the Europeans. Number 10, government. Our government could not be any more unlikable if we possibly attempt to create them so. And as it turns out, we, the U.S., kind of did. Not happy with the persecution the European government was dishing out to Pacific religious groups, the original pilgrims who ended up on American shores would eventually go on to pass down ideas for a new government in their new land, despite the fact that they persecute people in equally, if not worse, ways than the nations they left behind. Here are the governmental differences spelled out as clearly as possible. Europe. The European Parliament, the Europol or EP, is directly elected parliamentary body of the European Union, EU. Together with the Council of the European Union, the Council, it forms the biometrical legislative branch of the Union's Institute, and has been described as one of the most powerful legislators in the world. The Parliament and Council form the highest legislative body within the Union. However, their powers as such are limited to the competence conferred upon the European Community by member states. Hence, the institution has little control over policy areas held by these states, and within the other two of the three peers of the European Union. The Parliament is composed of 785 MEPs, members of the European Parliament, who serve the second largest democratic electorate in the world after India, and the largest transnational democratic electorate in the world, 492 million. America. The federal government of the United States is the United States government body that carries out the roles assigned to the Federation of individual states established by the Constitution. The federal government has three branches: the exclusive, legislative, and judicial, through a system of separate powers of checks and balances. Each of those branches has some authority to act on its own, some authority to regulate the other two branches, and has some of its own authority in turn regulated by the other branches. In addition, the powers of the federal government as a whole are limited by the Constitution, which leads a great deal of authority to the individual states. The federal government is based in the Federal District of Washington, D.C., and is often referred to as Washington. Number 9, television. While Americans enjoy a mind-numbingly huge array of television stations via satellite or cable, Europe, through able to acquire said choices, also has a slew of nationally funded channels that offer them different types of programming, and in the case of the BBC in Britain, free of advertising. Since about 2000, both continents offer roughly the same when it comes to cable, satellite, and offers a broadband with phone services and TV. The BBC and ITV are due to launch FreeSat, which, unlike FreeSat from Sky, will be a free-to-air system similar to Freeview. Europe, of course, features comedies and dramas specifically catered to its core audience, such as Doctor Who and The Original Office. Yeah, I heard of Doctor Who. I've seen episodes of it. It's a really good show. We here in America, television companies have been known to prefer European, usually English programming, which then needs modification to make it more appealing to U.S. viewers. Yeah, because of the programming that the BBC and the BBC has. A lot of Americans get bored and don't view this as boring, and they don't want to watch this. I mean, a lot of Americans, like, some of them have very short attention spans. They want fast, like, for instance, they want, like, for the news, they want fast paced propaganda nonsense, that brainwashes them into thinking that, oh, America is better than all those other countries and we have freedom and all this garbage. Yeah. In some cases, these American spin-offs have become more popular than the originals. Two in particular that spring in mind are The Office and Three's Company. Number 8. Meal times and etiquette. Europeans are more likely to be found eating as a family around the dinner table than many Americans who prefer the convenience of eating in front of the television. As a result, fast food chains are not as popular in places like France and Italy as they are stateside. This, however, is not true of all nations in Europe, as the English, possibly through the influence of American television programming, are also beginning to lean towards the convenience of fast food, either ready-made or ready to cook. Another striking difference is that in mainland Europe, supermarkets are far fewer in numbers than in America, as a large number of Europeans still buy their food daily from markets in their towns or city centers. Again, this is probably no longer true of the United Kingdom. These markets are part of an appeal that Europe has for Americans traveling to Europe. Okay. In Europe, as eateries is usually the first course of a meal, the same as American appetizer, the main course is called the main course. Americans like to have a salad course, but this is almost never seen in Europe, as salad, if it is being served, will usually be preserved alongside the main course. Okay. Number 7, shops. Shopping in the typical American city is a matter of walking around, going inside of whichever building one needs explore in order to locate goods and services and purchasing. We have a plethora of big box stores like Walmart, Target, Nishier, and those similarly huge home improvement shops like Lowe's, Home Depot, and the like. We like what we need really available at our fingertips, and this unfortunately this has contributed greatly to the end this has contributed greatly to the end mainly of mom and pop stores. Grocery stores is very common in England, where it is still only seen occasionally in the US. Europeans prefer the open air shops with the amazing array of vastly different foods available in each specific location, suited specifically to the term's location. In Europe, you will still see more high street shopping than malls, though this is beginning to change in some countries. The upside to this is that you get personal service. The downside is that if you get dreadful service, you have no one to complain to. It can take a lot more effort to find the items you need, as you have to go to many shops instead of one. Okay. Number 6, money. American currency is just about as basic as it comes. Bills for everything for $1 and over, 5, 10, 20, 50, etc. And coins for everything a quarter, 25 cents or less, dime, 10, nickel, 5, penny, 1. For the most part, and for the longest time, our bills have been green with nothing more than age-old etched images of presidents and persons of historical significance. Okay. Significance. And some significance. I have a tablet, my Apple iPad has frozen. Okay, where was I? Significance, and some say hidden meanings dating back to the rise of the Freemasons and other government clubs. The member states of the European Union have adopted a universal currency called the euro, with the exception of the British, who are exempt from adopting the euro. Yeah, because they're trying to get out of the European Union, and Theresa May has failed, and they don't want to use euros. They want to use their own currency called, the pound. Their dollar bills are like this. Okay, you got the £5 note that's called the fiver. You got the £10 note that's called the tenner, and you got pence coins and a quid coin. I'm not that familiar. I'm not that familiar with their currency. I know a little bit about it, but not a lot. So they want to use use their own currency instead of the euros. This can be incredibly convenient when on holidays, but the adoption of the euro has caused some difficulties in nations where prices dramatically rose, such as Italy. Yeah, I noticed. I remember I went to some stores. I mean, for instance, I went to a souvenir shop in Belgium, and I bought a flag, and I saw the I saw the price on it. It had the number on it, then it had a comma, then had the two zeros behind it. So yeah, I had a difficult time understanding it. Then it was like this in Belgium and Norway and Germany and France. So yeah, kind of got used to it. I think kind of got used to it in Germany and France. So if you try to buy something with money in America, they won't take it. They only take euros. So and the value. Okay, when I exchange on my American money for euros on the cruise ship, on that cruise I went on in 2017, um, I think I had a, I think I, okay, I think I gave like $180 American. Then I got back 150 in euros. Yeah, I think because of the value change, because I think the value goes down. Because I think because American money is just it's not that great. So yeah. Okay, number 5, language. Americans has one language for all, American English. Though some might say that Spanish is creeping in. Yeah, I live here in Texas, and I hear Spanish a lot. So yeah, I hear Spanish a lot. I don't care for it. Um, I had a friend who I had a friend who was I had a friend who was Mexican. He tried to get me to speak Spanish, and I was I was good at it a little, but I said something in Spanish. It was like this. I remember what I said. I said this. I think what I say. Re, Milado Ricardo or something like this. That's or Ricardo Mias. That's my name. I'm Richard Miles in Spanish. And I think I said something in Spanish like I'm Richard Shits in Spanish. I said this to my friend and he laughed. He said, "You said Richard Shits." But anyway, Spanish is a European language anyway. It originated from Spain, and they don't just speak Spanish in Spain. They speak um Castile and other languages in Spain and yeah, but there's a difference between Spanish spoken in Spain and Spanish spoken here in America and Latin America. Spanish spoken here is basically it's a lot of native a lang it's got a lot of like slang. The dialect is a little different. In Spanish in Spain, it's very proper. It's spoken correctly. So yeah. Okay. In Europe, on the other hand, has more languages than nations. As a result, most Europeans will learn at least one other language in school. This is often conspirally in mainland Europe, but not in the United Kingdom. English is spoken in most major cities, and in the case of some people like the Dutch, the English in Europe can be better than the English in England. Combined with the universal currency of Europe, this really does make holidaying easier. Okay. Number 4, sports. To Americans, nothing kills a weekend more appropriately than sitting around with some good friends, nursing a few beers, and watching your favorite sports team beat the snot out of its opponents. We have we here in the US have five major sports: baseball, American football, basketball, hockey, and car racing. Grabbing several bowls of artily clogging goodies, starkling out a spot in a favorite chair, and yelling at the television is what sports fans are all about. We love our sports so much we've delegated the entire clothing lines to them. Now in Europe, the four main spectacle sports are football, soccer, cricket, rugby, and tennis. And as we all know, your rabid attraction to your home team's rivals the beastly incorporation we have with our own. In fact, I have never seen anything even remotely close to the mass of influenced spectacles rising in unison to a bad call or a loss than European sports crowds. It's just scary and has been known in the past to be deadly. Ugh. Oh yeah. Remember I saw some. Yeah, I remember saw some like some soccer fans. I mean on TV. I think it was I think it was a British soccer team and an Italian soccer team, and I think both crowds there. I think one crowd that was for one team and one crowd that was for the other. I mean, they got into was a big nasty fight. It was ugly. Number three, cooking. Americans Americans cooking for all of its varieties and excitements owes its very extent to everywhere else. Even our deep-seated southern roots stem from French influence. If it can be successfully fried, we'll happily do it. If it can be mass produced and served with fried potatoes, we'll joyfully do that too. We love our steaks, our hamburgers, our hot dogs, our potato and tortilla chips, and our foods smooth and gravy. Europeans have a diverse cultural history in their food, and this is still obvious in every nation. It would be wrong, however, to consider European food healthier overall. This is not necessarily the case, and Europeans, knowing this, tend to eat smaller portions. Virtually every aspect of French cooking involves butter and cream. Of all the European nations, England England is the one with the worst reputation for food. It is expensive and usually bad. This, however, is beginning to change as more English people take an interest in redefine old English favorites, such as steak and kidney pudding for the new millennium. Yeah, yeah, people in Europe, they do eat small portions of food. I know it's like okay, you want something to drink. Instead of them putting tons and tons and tons of ice in a cup, they just put like one or two or three ice cubes for the drink, and some drink drinks at room temperature. Yeah, and here in America, people like to drink like ice cold drinks. And this is what I don't notice about America. I mean, I noticed this after coming back from Europe, and I noticed this. Um, we will like, okay, We have cold. We have some drinks in the refrigerator. We'll take drinks out of the refrigerator and pour it in a cup because the drink is already cold. Then we put like tons and tons of ice cubes in it, which doesn't make any sense to me. But it makes sense. Like, okay, if the drinks are at room temperature, and we like get like a can of like soda or something, and pour it in a cup, and put ice cubes in it to make it nice and cool. Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't like too much ice in a cup for my drink. I mean, I just put in like one or two or three ice cubes, like the Europeans do, and just pour the drink in the cup, or I just like drink a drink at room temperature. Yeah, and I don't like to eat all that stuffed food covered in gravy. I hate gravy. Um, I don't like butter at all, and all this other crap that we have here in America. If I live in Europe and eat healthier foods in smaller portions, like I would like that a lot. Okay. Plus, I don't like those big huge cups. I remember I went to some fast food places. I remember I went to Whataburger and I think Whataburger or Dairy Queen or Burger King. I asked for a medium drink. They gave me a large drink. I look at this like, this is not medium. This is large. Yeah. And that Whataburger, man, Whataburger is pretty annoying. Just when they ask you for ketchup, they ask you, do you want regular ketchup or spicy ketchup? That's annoying. Like, they ask you for ketchup, I say yes, and then they say regular or spicy. It's annoying. It bothers me, like, really. I don't eat there a lot. I be barely eat there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To me, that's just that regular spicy ketchup thing that they do. Like, it's just annoying. Okay, number two, drinking. There is very little doubt that Americans' favorite alcohol beverage has got to be beer. We love to import, export, and support the local microbrewers, of which they are literally thousands. In fact, I live smack in the middle of six, and the beers produced there are always readily available. We do have quite the active wine making community as well, generally on the West Coast in California, though other states such as Michigan, where I live, produce wine as well. In my state, selling alcohol before 12 p.m. is not only taboo, but illegal. On Sundays, you aren't allowed to purchase after 5 p.m., and if it's a holiday, none after 2 a.m. the previous day or on the holiday at all. Now in bars and pubs, you can purchase as long as you are inside until 2 a.m. Also, unless you want some serious trouble, you ought to be 21 to do so at all. Despite this drink, despite this high drinking age, many kids start around 16 or 17. Europe, of course, have beer, wine, and other alcohol, but most often just different variations on the common theme. In Europe, the drinking age in each country varies too, but to be on the safe side, carry your ID if you drink or purchase alcohol beverages. Some countries list two legal ages, one to buy beer and wine and another to buy stronger spirits such as vodka, while other countries allow younger people to drink while dining in the company of adults. It seems that the laws are similar as are the concerns for underage drinking, especially drinking and driving. One major difference here, however, is that many European families give their children wine with dinner, often watered down. There is much less a taboo associated with alcohol in Europe than America, which may be partly a side effect for the prohibition movement. Going back to okay, I'm gonna say this. I remember I went to a Walmart to do some shopping when I parked my car in a parking lot and got out of my car. Uh, a gang of teenagers, some kids, drove up, drove up, in their just drove. They came up to me in I think in a pickup truck, and one of them asked me, "Can you help us buy some beer?" And I said no, and they said okay, and they drove away. I'm not gonna buy them beer. Screw them. Okay, number one, day to day. While Americans and Europeans, okay, tablet froze up again. Okay, let me start over again. Okay, number one, day to day. While Americans and Europeans, excluding the British, drive on the same side of the road, there are still many different rules. The most obvious is the American rule allowing cars to turn on a red light. Most of the street signs use the same international symbols. In England, there are a variety of different crosswalks with different names. A puffin crossing has the lights on the same side as the pedestrian. A torch crossing is a crossing for pedestrians and bicycles. A Pegasus crossing allows horse riders to cross as well. There are also tiger crossings alternating yellow and black stripes to allow cyclists to cross without demounting, and of course the zebra crossing. But wait, there's more. There are also pelican crossings, which are traffic light control. Power sockets in the United Kingdom differ from the rest of Europe, and both are different from America and Japanese sockets. European plugs generally have two circular pins for insert in to the socket, although there are variations in almost all of the nations in Europe, while British and Irish plugs have three thick triangular pins. Also, European light switches off in the opposite direction to American lights. That's interesting. Okay, I have some bonus stuff on Europe to this video, and I'm going to read this. This is about why is nudity so openly accepted in Europe. Okay. And it starts out as this. I thought it was this. To me, it seems weird to make a big fuss about our normal natural form. But to be honest, I am not sure how relaxed Europe, however you define that as a whole, is about nudity. Even inside Germany, where I come from, there is a huge difference between the former East and the former West. In the former Eastern part, people are very relaxed with nudity, and you will find quite a few FKK beaches. While in Bavaria, where I live, that is not that common, except for the naked sunbathers at the Inseln Garten in March. So generalizing the whole of Europe seemed very difficult to me. I can tell you why Germans are pretty relaxed with nudity, but I can't tell you whatever that is true for the whole rest of Europe. I think what makes most Germans more relaxed than people in the US is the strict differences that is seen between nudity and sexuality. Being naked doesn't automatically mean being sexual in Germany. There was a big nudist movement at the end of the 19th century. Freikorps, this is in German. I'll just say this, short for FKK, where this strict separation was somehow defined. This also happened in France and probably other European countries. Also, most Germans are not very religious. Many still register as Christians, but actually religion is not really important in their lives. This seemed to be the case in many European countries. If I understand that right, in many countries, the problem with being naked is often a religion one, at least for the abundant religious. I have no idea about Hinduism and Buddhism in that regard. Some having a population that is less religious, taking that argument against nudity away. By today, the human body is mostly seen as something normal, lucky, and not something to be ashamed of. Being naked in the sauna is mostly required. German television most seem like porn to North Americans, as they are documentaries about breast implants where you can see naked breasts even in the afternoon. You might understand not why nepotism seemed completely nuts to Germans. We see more nipples if we just watch one afternoon of German TV. But as a last trip, being naked is not socially accepted everywhere. Don't try to go shopping in Mosha Karchanga and being naked. There is the problem of disturbing the public, which is fine in some complaints. It's often accepted and legal in areas where it seems reasonable. Beaches, lakes, rivers, saunas, showers, bathing. If you want to be sure if it is okay to be naked somewhere in Germany, look at the Germans around you. Are they naked? I went to Germany. I didn't see any naked people. Well, I didn't go to the places where I can see them naked. I mean, if I saw them naked, I'm not gonna freak out or anything. I'm not. I might a little bit, but I'll probably contain myself and just just look at it as just being normal. And this is what someone says about what I just read. This is their response to what I just read. Nudity in Europe is seen as normal. Nudity in Europe is seen as normal and not porn. This because Europe was not affected by the Puritanism in the Victorian era, which made its way to America. In America, to be topless means, in most minds, to asking for sex. Full nudity is formed upon, except among naturalists who have desexualized nudity. I have lived in Germany for a while, and nudity just seemed like a normal part of life. Nudity does not automatically mean sex. That being said, the Germans are more partial and realize that social nudity is fine, not just all the time or in every place. Americans would be a better place if nudity was seen as more normal and not overly sexualized. Just my 2 cents. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, I guess, yeah, yep, that's the reason why, Europe is different from America. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll talk about nudity again. I mean, in America, I mean, we're too body conscious. I mean, we're ashamed of our bodies, and in Europe, they just let it all hang out. And I think my sister told me this, and and I agree with her on this. Yeah, yeah, I like the less portion sizes. I mean, eat less. I mean, eating less and eating healthier foods, and drinking healthier drinks is good for your health. I mean, they exercise, they walk more, they take public transportation like buses and trains, and they ride bicycles. I mean, I think I said this in a previous video. I mean, when I was in Belgium, I went through this town. Don't know what the name of it is. Um, I asked. I think I asked my sister what town we were in, what town we were in Germany, and she said she doesn't know. She said this. I don't know, Germantown, USA, or something like that. I don't know. Uh, okay. When I was in Belgium, I saw I saw people ride around in bicycles. I saw a huge caddy where people put their bicycles up to go and walk around and go to some carnival, and there was like a ton of them. And it shows me that country is is all about exercising and walking more than, and they're not dependent on the car a lot. I mean, I saw some people drive around in cars, but not not a lot. Not a I didn't see a lot of people drive around in cars. Yeah, and yeah, I remember I was walking through this town in Belgium, and I smelt this smell. It smelled really bad. Then I walked out of I got out of it. It smelled like raw sewage or something. I don't know. It smelled pretty bad. Um, yeah. Going back to that mass shooting, about this guy going on a shooting in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Um, I don't know what I don't know what the story was behind this guy. I heard someone which I listened to all of this on the radio in my car. They talked about they killed the suspect, and they said that he went on this shooting rampage because he wanted revenge. You know, when they say the word revenge, that dawned on me, and I said this to myself: he just shot somebody. He just went on his shooting rampage because, well, the boss probably stabbed him in the back, and before that, the boss treated him like crap, and he was in a toxic workaholic work environment where he walked on eggshells. If he said something, I mean, he get in trouble. If he said the wrong thing that's like politically incorrect, he'll get in trouble, you know. And you know, I mean, I was stabbed in the back by my former boss, former boss at a place that I used to work at, TJ Maxx. I mean, my boss kept getting on me and telling me, "Oh, the store is opening," and I was just doing my job. I was doing my job. I was doing it the right way, and she just owned me all the time because of how corporate, and you know, all they care about is money, and they're just about greed, and that's why my boss was acting like this. My boss was a piece of shit. It was a woman. She stabbed me in the back and tricked me, and you know, and she turned around and fired me. But I didn't go around. I didn't grab a gun and go and shoot her and everybody in that place, because it's not worth it, you know. Because you know, these bosses and these people at these corporate run jobs, not all of them, are pieces of shit, and they're no good. And you know, they're no good. I mean, all they, you know, and these bosses and these people who run these corporations, all they care about is money. They're greedy. All they care about is money. They don't care about the customers. They don't care about the employees. They don't care about quality of their business. All they care about is money. I'm not going to grab a gun and go and shoot these pieces of shit, because they're worthless. Because you know, one day these people are going to die and they're going to burn in hell. You know, and greed in America is going to be the downfall for the United States. I mean, this country is going to crumble and fall along with everything that's garbage, that's pure garbage in this country. You know, in Europe, Europe, I mean, they're not a workaholic environment. They don't work people to death. I mean, the stores close early. I mean, they don't open 24/7. I mean, they got better pay. They got better health care. I mean, they have paid vacation time by law. I mean, that's something we will never have in the United States ever, you know. You know, if I lived in Europe, you know, I'll be probably making good videos up here. I'll probably wouldn't be making these videos that you guys see that are up on my channel, you know. I might talk about America here and there, but you know, probably be making better videos on this channel. I mean, and plus my channel wouldn't be underrated like it is right now. I mean, it'd probably be very popular in Europe. I'm probably gonna have a ton of subs. Yeah, you know. Yeah, my channels is overlooked here in the States. You know, I got some Canadians subbing to me, but you know, they don't care about the other videos on my channel. All they care about is those videos of me talking about their country, and they leave their whack job comments. Now, I think I saw a comment from a Canada video that I uploaded, and it was from some guy from Canada. He, he said he was black, and he told me, work in a grocery store sometimes. Are Canadians, like all of them, are racist, just like the Southerners. And my friend Captain Brandon Horror Lover came and told him the truth. And so yeah, Hey Brandon, thank you for putting that brain dead Canuck in his place. I appreciate that because I don't want to talk to these nutcases because they'll tell you stories about their country, but if you talk to them about it, they will totally ignore you. I think I remember one of them told me they're gonna unsub from me because I'm going too far and I'm Canadian. I said, well, since you're not gonna tell me what you're unsubbing to me, why you are unsubbing to me, why you don't want to sub to me anymore, well, whatever it is, I apologize. You know what he did? He went back and resubbed to me, and he left a questionable face in a comment form, and it was kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I mean, you know, Canada's a little better than the United States, but communication wise and talkative, I mean, they're a bunch of weirdos with communication skills that are in the toilet with the turds and the piss. Well, that's all I got. Well, that's all I got to say. This is the new Manchester saying this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.